We've actually, there are 10 artists in the exhibition, but not all 10 are here, so a few people couldn't make it. And I will introduce you to each of them. And I know I kind of tend to put people on the spot. I'm not expecting much, but it'd be nice just a couple of little words, anything that either inspires you about the work that you have, or you want to try and describe a little bit about what your work is. It's always fantastic to hear how people approach landscapes and how they interpret them, or what inspires them to be able to paint the way that they do, or the techniques that they have. Just for me to go for myself, Tracy Ann, you know, things that inspire me, I guess, are like the light over the land. Like I'm addicted to sunsets and sunrise. If I get up early enough, sunrises. But I'm just addicted to the way that the light falls on the land and the way that the colours change over time. And so that, to me, is my inspiration for some of my landscapes and the work I do. Of course, I love all the colours from up north, having been up into the Pilbara and the Kimberleys, and I just love those reds and those pinks and amazing colours up there as well. So that inspires me. I'm going to start with Tracy Harvey down the end there.
Hi, hello, thanks for coming tonight. My paintings, most of them are down that end, are inspired, that series particularly from hiking up around Exmouth and in and out of the gorges up there. And a couple of these other pieces here are based, I grew up in the country down in Marriton on a farm, and so they're inspired by some of my childhood memories of the landscape down there. And in a lot of the paintings I like to put crushed up eggshells or sometimes little bits of sand or things like that, just to help to also convey that sense of the fragility of the landscape. But I'm a sucker for the passion of colours, so mine are usually quite bright and vibrant pieces, and I love to do usually really big pieces. These are actually small pieces for me. Sometimes I do 2 metres by 3 metres.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it because you can get into the whole movement with the brushes, and I do a lot of commissioned pieces as well. And I just love painting. It's a real joy and a privilege to be able to do that.
Great, thank you, Tracy. Great. Deborah? Deborah Isabel?
Hi, Deborah Siva. This is my work over here called Underworld. With this piece, I was experimenting. I wanted to try and make art, but using non-paint-like materials, like anything that wasn't paint. So I fished out the bitumen, and I got the shellac, and I got the wood stain, and I got a little bit of collage, and there is a little bit of real paint in there, a little bit of acrylic in there. I just wanted to have a play. I just wanted to experiment, and I had this really cool board, and I just kind of it was quite intuitive, and I just let the materials basically do the work, and I'm just fascinated with the way materials react and respond, you know, juxtaposed to other materials, and you know, the depth of colour. And so this was quite an experimental piece, and yeah, I quite enjoyed making it.
Julie.
So my painting's this one up here, which is my garden, and the one that's just in the corner above, which is Rusted Landscape. So that one's based on the Pilbara, and actually we were driving through Chichester Gorges, and we came across a rusted car, which had probably been there since the 60s or 50s or something, and my husband and his brothers jumped into it with all the rusted metal all around, and there was this rusted landscape behind, and there was also the spin effects and all of those things. So that was basically the inspiration for that one, the rusted landscape. You know, that dry air as well, and that's all with mulberry paper and medium. So it's only a little bit of paint in it, so it's actually more a kind of like love, you know, collage in a way. A lot of patience, I would say. But this one is a very free form painting. I was really inspired by spring, and when all the flowers start blooming and it's raining and the sun comes out and the garden just glistens and you know, things like it's shining, and I just wanted to capture that moment without it being particularly realistic as kind of an interpretation.
Yeah, fantastic. Moira.
I've been here since March, and we were in the COVID, well, we were kept down, if you like, and I just walked around the local area, and we come from England, and so seeing all the plants in the gardens, I went, whoa! And the colour and the light. To me, it's overpowering when you come here. So my paintings are these not so subtle ones. That one, that one, that one. And that one over there was probably one of the first I did, and that's sort of probably as near to realism as I get. Because I don't want to be realistic, I want to have fun.
Yeah.
And I use acrylic, and I experiment with colours, I'm always experimenting, and I just have, I mean, it is a pleasure to paint, and I can't stop, can I? So that's about it really.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maura.
Hi.
Jennifer.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Soulage. I've got a studio in Pakenham Street, which is called PS Art Space. I've been there for about 10 years. Just a little bit about my background. I originally was from Victoria and I worked behind the scenes in the fashion trade. And then when I came here, I had the sea change and I actually started my art career in Dunsborough in '93. So ever since then, I've been painting and exhibiting. I was actually selected for the Doug Moran in 2014 as a semi-finalist for my first portrait of Marianne McKay. So when we come to that painting is this one here, which is from Heron Island. And I actually worked with one of the elders' granddaughters. And the actual rock from the ochre rock was actually rubbed into the painting. And she took me to a sacred land place and she did this little ceremony. And then we worked together, and then I did an actual sketch from that. And then it went away together to create this beautiful painting. So it has such a deep meaning for me, and really at that time in my life I was, you know, demonstrating with the Aboriginals. I was part of the activist group and I really loved it, so that's where that painting came from. This one here was very much into action painting. Now action painting was very much like the Jackson Pollock era. And I was inspired of working with just throwing paint on a canvas, but from that making something that really works and connects with my soul. So this painting came about and I called it the Blue Valley, and I just loved the way the paint flowed and it all came together beautifully. Now this one down here is called Blue Abstract Trees. Now with that one I lived in Dunsborough. And I was very inspired by a lot of the trees. You know, when you're near the beach, you all go on an angle. So that's where this one came. So I did a series of 3, and Tracy loved this one. So I'm very happy to be part of this exhibition and be part of such a beautiful, talented group. Thank you for listening to me.
Thanks, Jennifer. We've got Margaret Coxall as well.
Hello, thanks for coming everybody. And I'd like to thank James and Tracy Ann for the opportunity for this beautiful building. And I've just been bigging it up because it's just wonderful that we have this space here in Fremantle, that you guys have opened it, and I can't thank you enough for giving us all this opportunity. And so I've been painting for many, many years through many countries. I've spent a lot of time in America, where I painted and exhibited in America and in England and in the Middle East. So I've got around, but I finally ended up in Fremantle about 17, 18 years ago. So that was quite a difference, because I had my own gallery and exhibition space in Melbourne. But since I've been here, I've always had an affinity for the landscape here. I grew up in Tasmania, so sort of being close to nature was always part of my life. But here it's a different country, it's a different locality, and I was thrilled when my brother, who owned a soil testing thing in Southwest, said, here I've got all these samples of sand and earth from all around the southwest of Western Australia. What would you like to do? So that painting over there is a beginning. I'm very excited about this new series. It's on it are some of the samples of earth and sand that he gave me. So to me, I'm interested in the passage of time. So we are standing on a very ancient landscape. And underneath us, there are all these layers and passages of time as it moves. And that's what's so fascinating about this state. So it's an ancient landscape that we're standing on, and I'm just trying to represent the different layers, you know, mountains that have gone down. Because of my travels, I've done a lot of cityscapes in my life, and I'm always interested in the abstract shapes that buildings make against the night sky. I'm also interested in the signs and the flashing and the neon lights, and you know, if you landed in a strange city, you wouldn't know what it was all about. So for me, this is an idea of sort of giving signs, but we don't quite know where they're going. So my thrill is to do abstract landscapes of the city. My little one over there is, I also have an interest in magical realism, my original autograph. So it's magical forest, so it's actually looking into a forest, or who knows, like, and I am a watercolorist as well as so that's what I do. So thank you for paying attention. Thank you.